Alrighty, hello everybody. Let's get started. It's time for some racing. But before we get started and we head on over to MPM to hang out with our guys, I got a few things to do. So here's the thing. Monday is my birthday, so I do have a birthday gift here in Gran Turismo 7, but I'm gonna wait until Monday to actually open it. So I could go for it, but I'm not going to. What I am gonna do is I'm gonna go mess about with these gifts. Let me just get these driving tickets open. Alright. Got some credits. $10K, not bad. Get some more. Alright, hold on a sec. Friend requests from randos. Oh, I got a Nissan safety car. Nice. Nice little freebie. Okay. Now, what I'm gonna do real quick, I'm gonna save the winners campaign for another day. So basically, what the winners campaign is, it's a way for people to predict what's gonna happen in the Gran Turismo World Series, because on May 23, there's gonna be an LAN event. So it's the first round of the 2026 World Series. All the pro drivers are going to be going out to Milan to race over there. It's also why there's no World Series race that weekend. So they want to get everybody to go watch that. So I'll probably come up with something else to do on that night. But yeah, closer to the event, maybe next week. Excuse me. I'll probably do like I'll probably lock in my predictions. Oh, good lord. Why do I feel so bloated? I'm probably gonna go get some like Tums in a minute. But anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, let me just check in on everything. Oops, not the full rooms. I want to see rooms with friends. Okay. Now, here's what we're going to be doing. So, we got World Endurance, Gran Turismo style. It's going to be round 2 of the World Endurance series with my friends at MPM Racing. We're going to be at Spa. It's going to be I think it's 60 minutes. Did I say? I said it was 60 minutes, right? No, I said 90 minutes. I just want to double check if it's 90. Is it 90 minutes? Yeah, it is 90 minutes. Okay, so we're at Spa. It's going to be the 24-hour layout, which doesn't really change much. The only difference with the 24-hour layout is the start is different. We're going to be going down into Eau Rouge rather than turning in lap 1 at La Source. But it's gonna be a good one. I'm gonna be in the hypercar class, so we'll be driving the Toyota GR10 for this. And our goal is to try to get top 5, you know? Do bear in mind we are one of the back markers of our class. But hey, we'll do what we can. You know? Of course, I am sporting a new livery for this race. In my personal branding, you know, dark and light blue with some tinges of gray. I don't know if we're gonna stick to this layout though, because for the practice lobby, we've been doing this traditional Grand Prix layout where we're getting released into La Source. Alright, I just realized I am using soft tires for this. So, if you remember from round 1 at Lago Maggiore, the plan was to use hard tires and go long stint. And then maybe do a medium if we have the time and the gap. So, soft tire... Ooh, somebody's on the side. Little Reese, fellow competitor of ours. I see the Victory Pace logo. Of course, Victory Pace is a racing Discord that I do a lot of racing on as well. I haven't done any events over on their end, so I gotta see what they're up to. If they got some events. Ooh, I went late on the brakes here. Gotta try to get used to the flow of things. But just as a reminder, guys, for anybody tuning in, we are not just live on YouTube. We're not just live on Twitch. We're also live on YouTube. So if you guys want to, if you watch on one and want to help me grow the other, consider cross subscribing, cross following. Would mean a lot for both, because on the Twitch, on the YouTube side of things, we're almost at 100 followers. So, I'd like to get that before the birthday. And I will be doing a birthday stream. I just don't know what I'm going to be doing yet. Most important thing I've got to figure out right now is this the practice lobby or is this the actual race lobby? Because it is 10 o'clock. Aji has showed up. Just getting some practice in until the qualifying session actually starts. Now, if it's your first time watching me take on an MPM race, we typically do 20-minute qualifying sessions, and how it works is the first 10 minutes are reserved for the Group 3 drivers, our GT drivers, and then the following 10 minutes will be our own quali session. So, most likely what I'm gonna do is during the during the qualifying session for the Group 3s, I'll probably run an ad break, so that way I can extend our our no ads. Wait. I'll extend our no ads time on the Twitch stream, so that way you guys can get most of the race uninterrupted. So, because while Group 3s are doing their qualifying session, we're going to be in the pits, so we're not going to be doing anything. So there's no point. Oh, shoot. Was I taken out there? What happened there? I got a little too aggressive on the throttle, but then I got hit. Anyway, I'm gonna keep going, get some more practice in. But hopefully everybody coming in is having a good time. Hopefully everybody had a good Friday. Yeah. Oh, it's chalky, okay. Hold on, let me go back out and just... It's only practice, it's okay. Besides, I know for a fact that everybody here is a respectful driver, so nobody does this on purpose. So, unlike when we do daily races, whenever we do Manufacturers Cup, where you're just running into bandits, everybody here is a known quantity. So I know I can have a clean race with them. I can race them hard. Which is by design, I like taking part in private leagues like this, just so that way I can get some extra experience, go up against some higher rated drivers, and get to race in ways that we don't get to in Gran Turismo. So, where else are we going to get multi-class racing in this game? But if you're coming in for the first time, or you're just logging in, don't be afraid to give a check-in. I got some check-in viewer rewards. Use your channel points. I still gotta come up with a proper name for my channel points. I am open to suggestions. Because my team name at work is Team P1, I was thinking about maybe calling them Pints. P points, but with a 1 instead of an O. That's one thing that I'm thinking about, but I don't know. So we got some clean air, we got nothing to really worry about in terms of traffic, so we can go all out. Alright, because I think at this point, we're just waiting on, everybody who's registered to come into the lobby. Let's see how this goes. We're looking a lot better than we were. Oh boy, oh boy. Alright, 204.8, not bad, a lot better. A lot of wheel spin there that could have messed me up. And there is somebody behind me, so I just gotta be careful. Alright, so P5 in the training session so far, on track. Of course, these practice times are not always indicative of true pace, you know. Because bear in mind, I'm not going to be using these soft tires during the race. Alright, we're mostly going to be using the hard tires, so... yeah. So we're going to see what we can do about this. Of course... These events that we do with MPM Racing, they are typically coordinated alongside real-world events that are happening in the world of motorsports, because the real-life 6 hours of Spa, round 2 of this year's World Endurance Championship, is tomorrow. So, obviously we're going to be doing that here. Is that considered track limits? Is my lap going to be deleted? What did the steward say? Steward say I'm okay. Lovely. Ooh, nice. 204.6. Finding a little bit more pace. Like to see it. Alright, it's going to be a little bit awkward. We have, am I going to be able to make it before Eau Rouge? Looks like so. Lovely. It's always a little tricky when you're going 2 or 3 wide into Eau Rouge and Raidillon. But 10 viewers already on the Twitch side of things. Thank you guys so much for... I'm already fumbling my words. But thanks for showing up, everybody. Enjoy your stay. Uh-oh. Got washed out wide. Going a little bit long on the brakes. I'm gonna do some practice on the hard tires, because that is gonna be the compound that I'm gonna be using the most. So, whew, I can't speak tonight. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, let me box. Actually, did I post that I'm going live on the MPM Discord? I should probably mention that. Okay, I'm gonna go hop on. Box. I'm also gonna fuel up as well. Alright. Never mind. Okay. It's all good. I can just leave it be as is. I'm just gonna do a full refuel. I could just chill out a little bit. Okay, VPRL hasn't been doing anything for now, so oh well. Them and MPM are probably like my favorite servers to race in. You know, I highly suggest you guys seek these two communities out if you guys want to get some good league racing in Gran Turismo. You know, they're great, they're fun, they're very competitive, and, you know, we're all just here to have a good time. We just want to have some good racing. You know, it's not that sweaty. I've seen some leagues where, I've been in some leagues where people get, like, super, super sweaty for no reason. You know? Uh-oh. But MPM is probably one of the most relaxed communities I've ever been a part of. So, well worth the time and investment to come here. But we've got a lot of racing to do tomorrow night. We've got round 3 of the Manufacturers Cup. We've got, what else? We've got, probably gonna do some Le Mans Ultimate on Sunday night. And then we got a birthday stream on Monday. So, a lot to play with, a lot to work with. You know, so let's get a lot of streaming in, you know? Really want to hit 100 on YouTube, so that would be a fun little thing to do. And of course, by the end of the year, I am looking to try to get the 500 here on Twitch, so... Remember, we don't have the grip. Don't have the grip on these hards compared to the softs, so... But it's good practice for us to be able to handle this. So a full tank of fuel is about 14 laps. Alright. Good to know. Oops. Not sure if I kept that within track limits. But also, I need to double check. Our calendar, but I think there is Indy 500 qualifying this weekend. Not entirely sure. Alright. It's 20 past the hour, so just waiting and seeing what... We're just waiting on the call for, from the race organizers. When we're ready to go, we'll begin qualifying. But do bear in mind, guys, when qualifying starts, I will probably do an ad break on the Twitch side of things, you know, just so that way we don't get ads during the race itself. Oop. That's just a reminder how split quality is going to work. Oh, this is our 5-minute warning before quali starts. All right, not bad, no biggie. .8. Yeah, there is going to be a natural drop-off in these lap times now compared to the start of practice when I was on the softs. I want to try to shave off as much time out of these as possible. If I can consistently get maybe 207s, God forbid maybe 206s, then that'd be good for me. Because I want to try to be a little bit more competitive tonight, so... Especially considering it's a 90-minute race, so I've got a lot of time to get done. But also, my parents are coming home from the Philippines, which means, you know, near the end of the race, they could come by and say hello, so... My brother's at the airport picking them up right now, so... So near the end of the night, don't be surprised if things get a little bit scatterbrained. You know, they just spent 3 weeks on vacation, visiting family, going to reunions. So it's just been me and my brother here for the last few weeks. You know, we all live together as a family still, so. But I'm curious to see what everybody's plans for Mother's Day is, because here in the U.S., Mother's Day is this Sunday, so hopefully everybody has stuff planned. I'm just glad that I don't have to share my birthday with them, with Mother's Day this year, because, oh boy, because last year, for my 30th, Mother's Day fell on my birthday fell on a Sunday, on Mother's Day, so it was I think this is also going to be the first. This is also going to be the first year where. Hey, thank you for the follow. CH Play It. Much appreciated. Hello. How you doing? How you doing? Welcome aboard. All right. Oh, that was a little bit too easy on the brakes. All right, real quick. Is there anybody behind me? All right, we're good. I'm doing all right. Getting some endurance racing in. Just working in the night shift. Nice. Hopefully I could make the graveyard shift a little less unbearable. I know what it's like. Alright. Oh, wait. Are we going to get split weather? Or are we going to get changeable conditions in this race? Possibly. Possible. Yes, we are going to be doing some endurance racing tonight. That is on the schedule. We're just in a practice session right now, but within the next few minutes, we will be doing qualifying. But since this is a mix of Group 1 and Group 3 cars here in Gran Turismo, we will be spending the first 10 minutes of the qualifying session in the pits. So we will be... Oh gosh, track limits. Yikes. I got a little careless there, huh? I'm going into the pits anyway. But what was I saying? Yeah, the first 10 minutes are going to be done by the Group 3 cars. So for the first 10 minutes, we're just going to be in the garage anyway. So I'm going to be doing an ad break during that time frame. So just fair warning. But we're going to be in the pits anyway. We're not actually doing anything, so it's no big deal. Alright, just topping off. Yeah, so about 14 laps. Those are going to be like that's going to be the expected stint length. They don't let me serve my penalty in the pits. Huh. Thanks. Okay, hold on. I gotta abort. We gotta get ready. All right. Whew. Just get some energy drink. I'm running low on the rainbow sherbet. So, okay. How many Group 1 cars do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, we got random weather. Alright, so possibility of changeable conditions. Love to see it. Alright. But we'll be ready for that. We got rain tires. However, Spa is an absolute nightmare when it comes to terrain. So that's something we gotta be wary of. Alright. I'm just waiting on them to start up. Alright. PlayStation Party Chat is going, but I'm live on Twitch and YouTube. Can't really do that, so sorry guys. I'm just gonna check in a few things. Oh wow. So some news about the World Cup. We got our opening ceremony headliners. So on the football side of things, you know, for the opening matches for each host nation, there's gonna be like a headline concert. J Balvin in Mexico, nice, not bad, makes sense. Katy Perry for the US, but Michael Bublé for Canada? I mean, for a big sporting event, Michael Bublé is not the person I would think of to headline a concert. Don't get me wrong, I love his music, but he's more of like a chill, relaxed kind of guy. So that's really interesting. Okay. Alright. So I'm just waiting on things to get started. Ready up, says Max. But when the session actually starts, we're gonna go take a 3-minute break, okay? So I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to, you know, be able to watch this race with minimal interruptions, especially on the Twitch side of things. So I'll just wait for this. Come on, Max. Please, let us start. Come on now. Might as well put our R. As well. R is in the chat. Let's go. Start. Come on. I speak for the lobby. Says Deshaun. I speak for chat. Alright, let's see. Come on now. here we go. Qualifying is about to start. Alright guys, so with that being said, remember Group 3 is going to be going first for the first 3 minutes. So what's going to be done is we will have a... I'm going to back out. I'm going to back out of this real quick. Ah, somebody has a Spike the Dragon livery. Oh, you can't see it from here. But one of the Group 1 drivers has a AO Racing livery. Empieza! Alright, so, we're going to take a small break. We're going to be out for 3 minutes. Don't worry, I'm not on track just yet. So, by the time we come back, there will be at least 7 minutes left in the quali session for the Group 3s. And then with 10 minutes left to go in the session, we'll go out and we'll do our runs around, okay? So, I'll be back in 3 minutes, okay? Back in a bit.
Alright everybody, I'm back. Okay, so, since we're still 5.5 minutes away until it's time for us to go, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go do some spectating. So
So let's see here. We got our first lap times being put up here. Ooh. Hondo, that is a good save there. Driving the Aston Martin here. Alright. Driving the Racing Spirit of Le Mans livery. Got Diego here on the Porsche in P2 provisionally. He's actually got a bit of a slipstream from driving Cooter in P4. Alright, so we got us that's a personal livery. I don't think this is a custom livery. I think this is Team WRT. I think so, maybe. I don't know. Trevor Cooner doing BMW. So we're from Aston Martin, Porsche, and BMW, top 3 in class. Dejan P4. Now, bear in mind, guys, if you're coming in, we're not exactly able to use the. We don't have all the up-to-date GT3 cars, so we don't have the current era BMW M4 available. So all our BMW drivers are using the old M6. So we got a couple of BMWs over here. Make that 4. Also going BMW. We've got 4 BMWs in this class. Actually, make it 5. And your Paco is also going M6. Aoji using the Iron Dames livery. It's a shame. It's a shame we don't have Iron Dames on the grid for World Endurance this year. They're one of my favorite teams to root for. You know, they're considered a forerunner in getting women into motorsport. You know, all the drivers are women. So it's a shame that they don't have a seat for this WEC season. I don't remember if they're competing in in European Le Mans though. I hope they are. But yeah, they're a team that I really hope does well. I hope they come back. They're one of the most popular teams in the sport. So, and then, okay, those are all the, wait, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so yeah, we have an even split. 8 GT3s, 8 hypercars. But even then, not everybody's using the same car on Group 1. So some people are using the Porsches. I personally am using the Toyota, so but there's only how much time is left in the call? I think it's at only 2 minutes left, but we don't have the countdown here. Well, okay, so Hondo's hanging in there. The 217.3 is still pretty good. I'm gonna back out of this real quick with the radar. Okay, we're looking at a clean quali. So doesn't look like we're gonna get any wet running for this quali session, which is good. But we're gonna get ready because we are about to go into the pits. We're about to go onto the truck ourselves. All right. Had a client calling you. You're back for now? No problem. You're actually just in time. So we're about to go out ourselves. So just remember, we gotta let the Group 3s finish up and clear the track. And once they're all done and dusted, we'll be able to go out ourselves. I love GT3. I love it too. It's my... When it comes to endurance racing, I typically prefer doing GT3. That's my class of choice, personally. But for this series, for this series with MPM, I decided, you know what? Let me do the hyper class, the hypers. Especially the Porsche, sorry, not the Porsche, the Ferrari and the AMG. Yeah, they're very, very good cars. I always tell people that when people are getting acclimated to GT3, the Mercedes is one of the easiest cars to get to learn. I always recommend the AMG as a good beginner car. No matter which racing game you're playing, Mercedes is like a good beginner car, no matter what. Oop, Chalky has backed off a little bit. Alright. Gotcha. Yeah. I remember last qualifying last season in the Manufacturers Cup, because the 296 was so new to this game, there was like a complete uptick in people representing Ferrari in the Manufacturers Cup because they all wanted to play with the new 296. And with this season's Manufacturers Cup, we've got so many people go Porsche, you know, because they wanted to use the new the current gen 911. But I'm loyal to my brands. I will. Every season I drive for Honda. So, you have 3 919s? Not bad. Okay. Alright, this is our first time lap. Let's see what we can do here. I don't know how many of the 919s I have. Oh, you have 3 296s. Oh, okay. Gotcha. And we're talking the GT3 models, right? Because I think we still have, because I think we also have the road version available in the game. Okay. Yeah, I don't think they have engine swaps or tuning for that, do they? I mean, I'm gonna take your word for it because I'm not really into like building up cars in this game. You know, I just like driving the ready-made machines. Just got extreme tuning unlocked. Okay. Yeah, because I've finished all the single player stuff like long time ago. Actually, I still need to finish the power pack. I remember doing a bunch of streams on it a while ago. You know, trying to see if I can complete all the single player DLC, but I just forgot to do it. I don't do them that much. Yeah. Alright, 205.0. This is about what I expect for my skill level. I'm expecting to be near the back of the class, so mostly doing the tuning pack or just Spa Nürburgring. Alright, not bad. There was a time where I would just no life Gran Turismo, and one thing I would do every day, I would do this without fail. I would make sure to do the Sardinia 15 lapper, you know, just so I could farm credits. I would learn how to. I would try to down tune some of these higher end group cars, and just have them beat up on the Group 3s. Oh yeah. Yeah, some of those late stage tuning pack events. Yeah, they really want you to do everything. And the thing is, I'm not really a Nordschleife guy. Not my preference of track. Like, I like driving the Nordschleife, I just don't like racing it. Get what I'm saying? You just drive the 24-hour layouts? Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, because when it comes to the only tracks that I really avoid racing in this game are the Nürburgring layouts that include the Nordschleife, as well as Bathurst. Can't drive Daytona. Yeah, I can understand that. Turn 1 can be a little bit tricky. Ironically, the part of Daytona that I struggle with the most is not Turn 1, but it's the they renamed it. It's the Le Mans bus stop near the end. That little chicane. I can never get that quite right. Oh shoot! I made a mistake here. Because you don't get the braking point. At least in GT7, what I use as my braking point, in Group 3, what I use as my braking point, when you're about to turn in for Turn 1, there's a signal lamp. There's a signal lamp on the right side that I use as my braking reference. As soon as my car gets under it, I'm lifting off the gas and I'm just getting ready to brake. Oh yeah, Circuit de la Sarthe is pretty easy. I've gotten so used to it now. Funny, which is weird because I haven't really been racing it much in the racing game with the name. Yeah, for Group 3, Group 1. See, I think it's kind of universal. That if we're still talking about Daytona, for that braking reference, using that signal lamp. I personally use it as a way to that's like my lift off. I release the throttle, and then what I do is, depending on how late I can be on the brakes, I'll just go with that. I like to trail brake going into Turn 1, because you know some people are a little bit too conservative going into Turn 1. You know, go on the outside, stuff like that. But yeah, with Ferrari, with Group 3 in general, they pretty much have the same. They're pretty much the same braking points, you know. Okay. Alright, you're on controller, so yeah. I can understand if it's a little bit tricky with throttle and gas control. Alright, let me just see if I'm improving on this lap. Alright, this is gonna get... Oh, shoot. Bungled that big time. Yeah. Yeah, steering is a problem because it's the twitch. It's also the twitchiness of the steering on controller. You know, that's not to say it's impossible to be competitive. I know they're advertising the Gran Turismo World Series right now in the game because on the 23rd they're going to be racing in Milan. Oh shoot, there's only 7. Oh yeah, Bacon Dance got disconnected, so all right. Yeah, I'm not gonna be. I'm expecting to be near the back for this, so. But you still got the racing line on. There's no shame in having the racing line on. It's good to learn, you know? Don't treat it as a crutch. A secret tip that I would say that you should, with regards to the racing line, if you're ever in a wet race, turn the racing line on. If you're in a wet race, because that way you'll at least know what they're you'll at least know what the dry line is. So that's something for you to consider. But yeah, when it comes to being competitive on controller, I have seen people do well on controller, even though it's a bit of a disadvantage. One person that's going to be competing in Milan in a couple of weeks, he's probably going to be on the Manufacturers Cup. But his name is Daniel Solis. He's actually one of the NPC drivers you can race against in this game. But in the Gran Turismo Sport days, you know, when he was still like making his name in this in the esports scene, he would do all the qualifiers on controller, and he would be one of the top drivers in this region, in the U.S. region. So he would only drive with the wheel and pedals at live events. So he was kind of like the beacon of hope for controller players. So I think he has since swapped over to wheel and pedals, but you know, for a time he was there. Against friends I always win, but I tried online GT3 on Spa and got bumped twice while I was on P2. I lost my P2 and ended up P4. Yeah, I get you. Well, to be perfectly fair, daily races and online races here is just absolute banditry. You know, not everybody here is racing with the cleanest of intentions. You know, and that's why I really enjoy racing in leagues like this. So I hate online because of that. Yeah, I know. It's a pain, you know, because under normal circumstances, I am a B-rated driver. I'm a high B driver, but because of bad drivers around me, it's just like, ugh. I ended up in D rank at one point, so I had to constantly get races in to try and fix it. AI is so slow. Yeah, it can be. Do you play on PS4 or PS5? Because if you race on PS5, I highly recommend racing against Sophie. Yeah, you on PS5? Yeah, race against Sophie. It's better than the normal AI. I could definitely tell you that much. Okay, they're slow too. Yeah, it's It's a hard thing to deal with, you know? I always drive against them. I hear ya. Alright, just gotta make sure that I put the racing hards on. Okay, so we gotta put the green checks on. Sometimes they put me into Nirvana. Ugh, I know. I know how it is. Yeah. The problem is, it's just the penalty system is non-existent in this game anymore, you know? It's only like super egregious punts that get penalized. And unfortunately, you know, if it's not punished, they're gonna think, okay, I can do this, you know? Oh yeah. Racing against other people, just racing against other people in general at the Nürburgring. You know, I can only really do it on the GP layout. So, because I remember this was like about a year. This was back when I was doing Gran Turismo Sport. So the previous game in the series, I was doing a race over on the Nordschleife. I started at like P12 because I had a compromised qualifying. I was able to make it to P4 because everybody else was just punting each other and crashing into each other. So I would just navigate around them. So hold on one second. Sorry guys. Oh, thank you for the sub. Much appreciated. Really goes a long way. Thank you so much. Alright, sorry guys. I just gotta check my work phone for something real quick. Okay, hold on. There we go. Alright, I just want to make sure that everybody has gone through. Normally, hey, you don't have to. You know, a follow is good enough for me. But I will not say no to a sub. Thank you so much. Alright, this guy that just waltzed right in, D-Bull. Boy has got to leave. You are not part of this. Because you gave me so many tips and tricks. Hey. That's what I like to do. I like yapping. I like giving my 2 cents, you know? I'm a bit of a veteran. So, let's see here. Because this rando that just walked in, because this is a registration only lobby, so this guy's not on the list. He's also driving an illegal car. It's not a GT. Okay, there we go. All right. I'm just waiting. We're just waiting on Max to get things going. So let me see here. Did anybody else leave? Spilled milk left. Hopefully they can get back in. But yeah, we're just waiting on the lobby to be manually reset because somebody got disconnected mid-session. We have to reorganize the grid. So I probably will still be starting P8, but we'll see how things go. Now, alright, we're looking at a dry race. So this is, let me just have a look here. Let's just have a look at the weather radar. Yeah, we're looking at a dry race so far. Of course, for what it's worth, this game is in it's on its last legs. GT7. We're very much under the impression that Gran Turismo 8 is in active development. You know, it's only a matter of time before we get official word on it. My question is it going to be developed for PS5? Because I think we're still about a 2 or 3 years off until we have to think about a PS6 or something like that. I don't think we're anywhere close to a new generation of consoles. But if there is big Gran Turismo news to be seen, it'll probably will be shown in Milan. So we'll see how that goes. Because I would like to see maybe 1 or 2 more tracks added to the game before we flip the page into Gran Turismo 8. But I could probably talk to death about things that I want for a GT8. Obviously, a new penalty system, you know, would be nice and dandy. Oh, hold on a sec. Let me fix my chair real quick. Alright. Whew. Okay. Let's try this again. 5 minute drink, pee and puff break. So if anybody needs to take a break, now is the time to do so. Actually, you know what? I am going to take that break too. I'm going to take advantage of that break. So, because we're going to be doing this for 90 minutes. So, what I'll do is I'm going to take a small break real quick. Don't worry, you guys are not going to miss anything. Like Max said, it's 5 minutes. So, I'll be back in 3, okay? So, if anybody wants to get any snacks, anybody drinks, anybody want to use the bathroom, do it right now, okay? I'll be back in 3. Alright everybody, I am back. Alright, so let's get ready to go. We're on our 2-minute warning. So lights out in 2. Nope, I'm gonna keep the car as it is. So hard tires. So let's just remind ourselves of how this race is gonna work, okay? So we've got custom weather. Fuel and tire wear is going to be burning at 3 times the normal rate. So based on quality calculations, based on the practice session, we're expecting 14 lap stints. All right. So at our normal pace, we're going to get about 14 laps for each stint. So that's how we're going to try to see how we can make those tires last. Now, for the early parts of the race, we're going to be going on the hards. If I can maybe sneak in a medium stint later on, we'll try to do that. Okay? Now, I know my skill level relative to these guys. Some of these guys are higher skilled than me, you know? Some of these guys are top split drivers. You know, they're A+ drivers. They're much higher than I am. So I am expecting to be at the back in class, but the goal is to try to get maybe P4, P5, you know? So just by sheer consistency, having a clean race, a steady race, and taking advantage of some DNFs, we'll see what we can do. Alright? Because it is 90 minutes, so we're gonna be here for a while. All right. So let's just wait on startup, and then we'll get going. So it's gonna be a rolling start. We're gonna start out on P6. I do expect Bacon Dance to overtake me at some point. So we got a rando here, but he's not going to be taking the start. He should not be. He ain't. He shouldn't be. One thing I really hope that they do. One thing that I would really suggest that they do is put a password. You know, so that way only people who are actually registered for this race. Are you ready? Asked the Jean. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Come on now. So hold on. Now that since we did that little break before the race started, we got an hour and 55 minutes of no ad time. So this is good. This is good. We should be able to get the entire race ad-free. So that's why I kind of like to OD on. This is why I like to kind of OD a little early on the ads, so that way we can get things free later on. Let's go. It's getting a little bit juvenile in the match chat over here. That's why we need to get this race going. Let's go. Actually, let me just check in on okay, there we go. Let's get started. Ready for the 90 minutes of Spa. Alright, so we're starting P6, second from the bottom in class. So let's see how we can handle this. Remember, it's all about finishing the race. Oh, thank goodness. Well, it wasn't perfect, but they did start me out relatively close on the main straight. Of course, because of how the starts are staggered, I end up naturally farther back from everybody, which is not ideal. Because you see how far me and Bacon Dance are compared to everybody else. There is a track limits penalty up ahead. Because I'm playing the long game with this one. Oh, man. Gee, I'm already getting left in the dust. Whoa. Also, I don't know what tires these guys are using, so I don't know. But again, it's a long race. Things can happen. I just want to test my mettle on everybody, so. Oh, one thing to note for this race, we have heavy damage on. So any damage that I incur, like through contact with the wall or other drivers, unlike in other modes, and most other modes of the game, damage will not regenerate, so I have to go into the pits to repair any damage that I get. Oh, shoot. Hey, Ender, party of 4. How's everybody doing? What you guys been doing? How's everybody? How's everybody? Alright. Let me just get down Puon real quick. But for anybody that's coming in from Ender's Raid that doesn't know who I am Jet. I'm a variety streamer. I specialize in racing games. We are joining our friends at MPM Racing for some endurance. We're doing a 90-minute race around Spa-Francorchamps. You know, this is just to celebrate the 6 hours of Spa that's going to happen in the real circuit tomorrow. But we're doing good. We're doing good, Ender. What were you playing tonight? And I hope everybody else coming in from his stream is had a good time. GT7. That is not where I want to be. But again, I'm on hard tires, so I'm playing the long game with this. Anomaly horror game called Captured. Okay. Hopefully you guys had fun with that. I know horror games is more of your niche. You know. But hopefully everybody had a good time, you know. We're gonna have a lot of racing scheduled for this weekend because we got round 3 of Manufacturers Cup tomorrow night. Oh shoot. We got round 3 of Manufacturers Cup. We also have some daily races over on Le Mans Ultimate on Sunday, and then I still got to figure out what we're gonna do on Monday. But Monday is gonna be the birthday stream, so you know this will be a chance for everybody to celebrate alongside me because I turned 31 on Monday. But if I end up doing something with family instead on Monday, I'll definitely do my birthday. I'll do my birthday stream on Tuesday. Either or, it depends on what we got planned. But more likely than not, I'll be doing a stream on Monday night. But yeah, we're just chilling here in P7. We're clearly the back marker of this class, you know. Group 1 is not my forte, but I'm just here to get a good endurance race in, you know. See what I can do. The fun stuff happens when I eventually catch up to the Group 3 cars, you know? Because then I have to dance around traffic. And that's what I really, really like about multi-class racing. Because it's multiple races being held on the same track. So, at a certain point, you know, you gotta catch up with everybody. And so you have to try to do your race while avoiding everybody else's race. So it's a fun little dynamic. It means that even though we're in different classes, different cars, there's still action going on, you know? Because nothing gets more chaotic than you trying to overtake somebody and then all of a sudden you got slower or quicker cars around you and you got to navigate all around them, or you got to let them by, depending on what class you're in. So, and just in general, endurance racing is a lot more chill. So much more relaxed compared to stuff like F1 or IndyCar or NASCAR. You know? Don't get me wrong, they've got a thrill to them. There's a thrill factor, there's an excitement factor that will never diminish, but something about endurance racing has a little bit of a charm to it, you know? Honestly, I think there is a tire gap between me and the other drivers. Oh shoot. I'm gonna get done for track limits, aren't I? Oh, guess not. Thank you, stewards. 207.6, nice. Now I'm kind of playing this by ear, because I didn't really do much practice, because it's Spa. You know, there's not really much you can do to practice Spa. Sorry, I had to back out of that a little bit because of the because of me cutting the Lacombe chicane. I couldn't just speed on through. I didn't want to get a penalty, you know. So, if you ever cut the track or if you exceed track limits, make sure you slow down so you can give back the time that you gained illegally. That way you don't get a penalty. It's clean motorsport, you know. I drive for a racing team called TCR, Ticheney Community Racing. And we always pride ourselves on being clean drivers, you know, making sure that we're doing the right things when it comes to racing other people. So, good habits, you know. Alright, but we're still in the early phases. We got an hour 19 to go. I honestly don't know how I'm so far back. Right? I was always expecting me to be at the back, but I'm like, how am I 29 seconds back already? You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna do a fuel check in just a little bit. We've got 8.7 laps, so we're pretty good. The idea for me is to stretch out this stint. Because from the looks of it... From the looks of it, I'm not expecting any rain. Yeah, I don't see any rain on the forecast. It isn't... And the radar's been zoomed out as far as it possibly can. So 7.1. Okay. Times are starting to get better. But here's the thing. We're starting to get close. Starting to get close to the back markers. We're starting to get close to the GT3s. That is where our race is truly going to start, you know? Trying to dance around them. I refuse to believe that that was a purple sector. I'm pretty sure the guys ahead of me are much quicker. A lot of curb that he took there. I don't think that's track limits, is it? Something to worry about. We've got a GT car coming up pretty soon, so we're gonna have to try to overtake him. To 7.5. Alright, this is gonna be the tricky bit. Gonna have to try to overtake him. Alright, through the Camel Straight, we're fine. Lovely. Because if we had to do it through Eau Rouge and Radeon, it would have been a lot tougher. So. Now this, like I said, this is where the race truly takes off. Now that we gotta deal with the back markers, we gotta dance around them. Just so we're clear, these guys are not fighting us. Oh, Hondo is one of the. Who's? Alright, some of the guys ahead of me were on mediums. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, how am I losing so much pace? But I'm thinking, okay, gotcha. It's the... I'm on hard tires. That explains it, at least for short term. But I still have 6 laps of fuel left on my stint, so we're gonna have to tough things out a little longer. This person is 5. He's below 5 seconds, so. Still got a long way to go before we have to deal with any pit stops. I think we're still a ways away from more lap traffic, so because I think the 2 people that we overtook are outliers. I think something happened to them, or maybe they took early pit stops and that's why they're so far back. Oh, what I should also do is put more brake balance to the rear. Because if you can see on the bottom left of your screen, my tire gauges, my fronts are a little bit more beat up than the rear, so I'm gonna try to even out the tire wear a little bit. see blue flags being shown. Uh-oh. I got a little careless there. That could have been nasty. If you make a mistake on Eau Rouge, it's pretty much game over. Some of the nastiest shunts you'll ever see in Spa happen at that corner. I see a couple cars up ahead. Pretty sure they're lap traffic, so we're gonna have to go around them. They will be shown blue flags indicating that I'm coming, so they're not gonna be totally out of the blue. There's two of them as well. This is gonna be tricky. I might be able to get one of them before the break, before the bus stop. Yeah, I'll get one of them. Oh! Oh, I got the door shut on me. Yikes! That was. That was rather sketchy. Oh shoot. I got careless. That's gotta be truck limits, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's fine. It's only half a second. But that was just unnecessary, you know? Especially considering those two guys were going into the pits. I mean, there's no... You just need to stay on your line there. Yeah, just a small half-second penalty. It's no big deal. But, it's gonna lose me some time, lose me some pace. Just gotta be careful. There's some marbles on the outside of the track. So, we gotta be careful. Got another Group 3 car up ahead. Gonna see if we can get them. It's P10. I think it's a third place driver in class. I should be able to speed through him. There we go. No problem. Oh, had a little bit of a twitch there. Could have caused some problems. Alright, 2.5 laps. Oh, shoot. Whoa! Alright. A little bit clumsy from me and Aj. From Aji and I there. Alright, there we go. We should have no problems now. And we should be able to get Diego through the Camel Straight. Nice and easy. And that should be it for back markers. Now we can just focus on clean air. So not this lap, but the end of next lap we're boxing. A lot of clean air. Should be good to go. Alright, 207.0. Nice. Personal best, but we're gonna box this lap. We're gonna get ourselves some new tires. Fill our tank to the brim. We'll go from there. Now, from the looks of it, this entire stint is about 30 minutes, so... Looks like my other drivers in class are able to push the same amount of pace on those mediums. I'm gonna gamble. I'm gonna go on mediums for this stint. See if I can be a little bit more competitive that way. Of course, it does mean that the tires will be much more destroyed after this 14-lap stint, but it is something worth exploring. Alright. Let's hop on in. Let's see. Come on, guys. Let's go full tank. It's gonna be a while, so bear with us, guys. Alright, come on, come on, come on. Alright, let's see how the mediums fare in this stint. Now, most importantly, I'm in clean air. I don't have anybody to deal with on front or behind, so I can really have a proper go of this. Definitely having new rubber helps. Feels a lot smoother now. But once these things are fully up to temperature, I can see what my new pace is like. About 2 minutes behind, just under 2 minutes behind the next driver up ahead. But this is when the vast majority of people are starting to pit. This is where the first stint is ending for a lot of people. Ooh, okay. Catching up quite a bit on Ravaka here. Obviously, they just did a pit stop themselves. Now I'm only 35 seconds away. Now, they did a second stop, which means they're out of sync. We'll see how that factors in later in the race. It's not gonna be, I don't think it's gonna be much of a thing now. But if I can be consistent throughout this entire process, throughout this middle stint, I could be able to overtake them while they're out of sync through the pits at the very least. We'll see how this goes. Most important thing we gotta do though is protect these tires. Make sure that these last through the entire 14 laps. can already see how much faster it is. We're about a second and a half faster compared to our hard stints. So we're looking at probably a 205, maybe a low 206. A lot more grip here. Yeah, 205.4. Much more competitive time. Not much to go over. This is going to be one of the tricky parts of the race. Now, the reason why I say that is because there is nobody around me. You know, I'm very much in no man's land, all by myself. I'm not chasing after anybody. I'm not in a case of having to defend. So I can really just be alone and focus on getting good laps. Now, I do see a couple arrows behind me. They're still a ways away, but that could be leaders, and I'll have to move aside for them. But at least I can now see why I was so uncompetitive on that first stint. I was on hards. Everybody was able to make it through mediums, so... I learned my lesson. Alright. That is wide to La Source. Alright, I'm fairly certain the person driving behind me that is eventually going to catch up, I'm pretty sure that's the leader. One thing I also got to do during this stint is I got to find ways to get my battery level up. Because this Toyota, this thing has a hybrid system, so when I'm under braking, the battery will recharge, but I just got to find ways for me to regen. Because other cars in this class are a lot more effective at this. Right now I'm being shown blue flags. The leaders are coming. So, if he does catch up to me, and he will eventually, I'm going to move aside and let him through. Now, unlike people in the same, in different classes, they're not going to, they don't necessarily have to, you know, move aside. They're just gonna leave space for me and, you know, just stay on their line. It's up to me to overtake them cleanly and efficiently. So it's not necessarily their thing that they gotta do. 10 laps to go on this stint. Alright, at the very least, can I overtake? Before I have to overtake, I have to get overtaken myself. There we go, nice and easy. Now I can get back to my race. Alright, what are we looking at traffic-wise? Obviously he's Chalky is the guy up in front. Was not paying attention at all. Alright, and that's gonna mess up the tires to an extent. Thankfully we have anti-lock, so it's not gonna be a case of, oh shoot, flat spots on the tires and the wheel is gonna be vibrating like crazy the entire time, but it'll definitely cause some problems later on in the stint if I keep making silly mistakes like that where I'm super late on the brakes. That has a lot more strain on the tires than it really needs to be. Is that track limits? I don't know. Right. Track limits were fine, I guess. Stewards say I'm okay. They didn't give me a penalty for going on the curbs. Going on those curbs. Right, Hondo, next driver up. Easy and painless. Those are the types of overtakes I really want to do when dealing with the lower class cars. And we got somebody going into the pit, so one less thing to deal with. Alright, we're halfway through the stint. We still got about 8 laps to go. Lisa, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Alright, I think we got another GT car up ahead. Is this multi-class? It is, yes. So this race is basically mimicking the World Endurance Championship. So we're doing Group 1 and Group 3. Now, obviously, we're using only the manufacturers that are actually present in the World Endurance Championship. So, up into Group 3 class, half the grid is running BMW. But some people are using Porsches over there. I think that's it. Yeah, it's not it's not official. This is a private lobby. This is a private league that I'm racing in. This is us just or this is like self-organized. So if you guys want to do racing like this in private leagues, organized races, I highly recommend you guys register for a site called SimGrid. It's free. It's a free service. And it supports many different games, so not just Gran Turismo, but if you guys want to do league race, private leagues in, let's say, Assetto Corsa, in Le Mans Ultimate, I think iRacing is also supported, you know. Yeah, that's totally fine, that's understandable, Louisa. But you just gotta know where to look, you know. Leagues like this are out there. And the fact that these are player run means that you already do get a leg up in terms of, you know, cleaner racing. People do, on the whole, they tend to race a lot more respectively because, you know, when you play online, when you play on sport mode with dailies and the World Series races, those people are absolute bandits, you know, because it's just the casual player or players with like poor racecraft. But I do like league racing like this because you know what you're getting, right? And you're able to get a certain level of competition that you just otherwise wouldn't be able to get. So, yeah, I highly recommend giving SimGrid a shot. I want to see if I could try to use SimGrid for some other titles. Obviously, I'm playing mostly Gran Turismo and Le Mans Ultimate right now, but if I can get some more racing over there, I think they got some stuff for Assetto Corsa Evo. Yeah, just go on it and sign up. You can register. You can register for an account through your using your Discord, your Steam, either or. I highly recommend Le Mans Ultimate. If you're PC based, for my money, it's the best. It's the best value for money in terms of sim racers right now. Right? Obviously, iRacing is, you know, the gold standard when it comes to racing standards. But, of course, the barrier to entry is super, super high because of the monetary costs. You know, you're constantly having to pay for new cars, pay for new tracks on an individual basis, which, take it from me, from somebody who spent hundreds on iRacing, it's hard for somebody to get into, you know? But Le Mans Ultimate, I'd say, is pretty much a good way to start. Especially considering they are actively working on a console port of it. They're probably not going to get a console version of Le Mans Ultimate until next year, but they are working on it. I'm just excited to see what they announce for this year's 24 hours, because they did tease that there's going to be a new content drop for the 24 hours in Le Mans. All right, so I just got to dance around these guys. It was a little bit tricky, but we got that done. Now, unfortunately, we gotta deal with a leading driver in my class. So, because unfortunately, I made a bit of a mistake on strategy You know, I decided to do the first stint on hard tires, but I realized that that wasn't a competitive move, so I ended up very much in the back after this first stint, so I'm just trying to play catch up. Alright, so I got about 4 or 5 more laps on this stint, so the tires should be able to last until then. Oh god, it makes me wonder what I could have done had I started the race on mediums instead of hards. Maybe it could still work out, don't knock it till it's done. Yeah, you never know. I'm very much of the mindset that, you know, even if you don't, even if you're not competitive, always finish your race. You know, always finish to the end. You never know, people could DNF, people could have issues, opportunities can show up as a result. Don't be afraid to, don't give up. Even if I have a, only terminal damage will take me out of a race. Alright, I'm gonna move aside and... because this is an in-class competitor, so I'm gonna slow down and move aside. Alright, from the looks of it, I got some clean air behind, so I don't have to deal with any of that stuff for now. I could just look ahead. But I also gotta be mindful of these tires now. They're a little bit shot. Alright. But yeah, going up against these guys was always going to be a challenge. Some of these, a lot of the drivers here in this grid are A level drivers, A plus level drivers. So these guys are like top split. So I was never going to be competitive against them, but you know, I still want to race against them. I still want to test myself. You know, make sure that I can measure up, close the gap. And besides, I finished 5th in the first round of this series, so you never know. Alright, 4 laps to go. Just gotta be careful and manage these tires. So car up ahead is 44 seconds out, but the thing to note about that car is that they're out of sync. So they've done 2 stops already, and most of the people in my class have only done 1. TCR is my racing team name. Yes, it's a part of the racing team. Yeah, it's a team that I'm a part of. So, it stands for, in this case, it stands for Tichney Community Racing. So, there's a prominent former Gran Turismo driver. His name's Martin Grady, Tichney. About a couple years ago, he decided to start a racing team of his own. You know, just as a community thing. So I've taken a part in a lot of his community events, and when he announced the racing team, I decided, yeah, why not join it? I keep forgetting to do this. Okay, you know him? That's awesome. I keep forgetting to do this, but about a year or 2 ago, I helped him record footage for one of his daily race videos. And he decided to, when I showed up on the footage, he was like, "My name is Jeff." And I keep forgetting to do this. I want to save that as like a sound bite and use that in my use it on my channel as like a sound reward. You know, goofy little thing. My hybrid battery is low, yeah. The problem is, in this version of the Toyota, regen is really, really wonky. Now there is a way, I know there is a way for me, there's a technique for me to do, to get battery back. But I kind of don't want to do it on this lap. I want to wait until the next lap to do it. I can put like 2% brake pressure, and that'll actually regenerate the battery. But I want to try to do it next lap. I especially don't want to do that too much with blue flags calling my name. Alright, I'm going to try it now. You can faintly see it, but I'm putting a little bit of brake pressure on the car right now. I think it's about to get super crowded in a minute here. I'm still waiting to see when these guys are coming up. Obviously, when they get closer, I will move aside. Alright, they're just finishing up Fanya. Just see if I can get past this guy first. Take a wide line just to let him through. Box, box, box. Still too early. Boxing this lap. Pick and firm. Should be able to get Angry Pothole before Eau Rouge. There we go, nice and easy. Gonna ride the brake a little bit, get some charge in here. Yeah, these tires are really starting to go. But they should be able to last me in the end of the race once I get a new set. This sector has never been my strong suit. I'm gonna be very honest with you. Alright. Box. Let's get a new set of mediums, and we're gonna top off to the end. I need to get some drink in as well. Ugh. Okay. Let me hit some snooze button as well. Make sure that we're ad-free for the remainder of the stream, for the remainder of the race at the very least. Only mediums and hard? Yeah, for the most part. Do bear in mind, we did use the softs for qualifying, but with 30 minutes left to go, there's no way we can do a soft stint. The softs are not gonna last. I can tell you that much. So, yeah, we're gonna be doing another medium stint, and this stint should take us to the end of the race. Alright. We would have to do an extra stop. With the time frame, no, this should be it. Yeah, if I did softs, I would have to go in once more. Right. And Spa is a very long pit stop too. So the time lost versus the gain on softs doesn't really justify it. Ooh, yellow flag out. What's going on here? Keep an eye out. Uh-oh. That's a spinner. But that person is a lap ahead, so I'm going to have to give back the position anyway. Alright, but I'll let him catch up. Alright, when we enter Fagner Chicane, I'm going to go wide and let him through. Alright, we got traffic up ahead. Let's see how this goes in terms of dealing with... I'll back off just a little bit. Oh, shoot. Super crowded here. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Everybody in the pits. This is why I love multi-class racing, you know? It gets chaotic when everybody meets up like that. Hybrid should be good for the rest of the race. I don't think I need to do any more of those regen laps. We're gonna get past here. Beautiful, nice and easy. Let's have a look at the map up ahead. Have some clean air for the most part. And since I got fresh tires, I can really have a go at this. But the guys up ahead are back markers, so... Well, I actually don't want to call them back markers. They're just in the other class. And apart from one incident earlier on in the race, where I ended up, you know, going off track because of an overtake failed, we haven't really had much incidents. So we've had a clean race for the most part. If you can see, if you notice one of the meter marker boards missing is because I ended up knocking it over. Alright, with 23 minutes left to go in the race, I'll definitely have enough tire wear and fuel to finish this race. So that last pit stop was our last one to do. Alright, so we're 1 minute and 5 away from the next driver in class. Don't give me false hope, game. Don't tell me that I have a purple sector. I am not the fastest driver out on track. Alright, here we go. Pull on. Huh. Falca's gone in again. Wait, didn't he just go in like 2 laps ago? This guy's like majorly out of sync compared to the other drivers. Like this whole thing is what could possibly get me a position, you know? We'll see. Because if we end up close by, it's gonna be for position. I don't have to move aside for him. Oh, that's not gonna help me. Because look at it now. He just gave up like 40, like almost 45 seconds to me. I'm 22 back. And I'm on... And he may be on fresher tires, but mine are warmer, and they're at the peak temperature, you know? So depending on how things go, I may be able to steal P6, which will be good. It will be a fun little thing. But I gotta get a move on. Wider than I would have liked for the exit effectiveness. Use the curb. Get some unintentional extra rotation out of Stavolo. No GT runners nearby, so I don't have to worry about any overtakes right now. But I'm getting close to having to move aside. All it takes is one incident and I could be thrown back into the fray here. So just gotta keep things steady. We're almost done. Because with less than 20 minutes left, should be good to go. I'm gonna be very honest, this doesn't feel like too long, you know? This hour and a half kind of went by really quickly. Does anybody else feel that way? It didn't feel like a slog. I don't know what it is. Because when we were doing, when we did Imola a couple of weeks ago, I was just like, is this thing done yet? You know? And that was only 60 minutes. That was a little bit wonky. That could be track limits, I don't know. We'll see. What do the stewards say about that? Me going off like that? Yeah. Alright, whatever. Shoot. Alright, I was shown a blue flag, but... Oh no, he didn't go into the pits. I thought he did. But don't worry, if he does get closer to me, I will let him through. I want to minimize my time lost, so... catching up, but still too far. Alright, I kind of rode the curbs a little too far to my liking. So we got some clean air behind. I don't anticipate we're going to get much more blue flags until maybe near the very end of the race. So we're down to the last 15 minutes. Now, just a quick little disclaimer for everybody. After this race is over, I am going to just go straight offline. I might just send you guys out for a raid because within the next like half an hour or so, I have my parents coming home from the airport, so I'm probably want to, you know, be ready for them to come back. So as much as fun as this is, after this race, we're going to be heading out. All right. Oh, I got a lower class card to navigate around. Made it very, very awkward for us. Going straight down the middle. But yeah, my parents are spend like 3 weeks over in the Philippines, so we're gonna go grab them, and then, you know, they'll be home. They should be they'll be touching down within the next half an hour. We're just gonna go grab them. So we're not too far from the airport, so it's not that big not that far a drive. And of course, re-entry and baggage claim is going to be a while, so we're going to be up for a bit. Also, my desk chair has kind of rolled back a little bit, so my posture is going to be a little off. Should be able to overtake Algi through the Camel Stray. Just gonna back off a little bit for Eau Rouge and Radion. Then I'm gonna make my overtake. There we go. Just be smart about it. Just because I can make the overtake doesn't mean I should, you know? Patience is a virtue when it comes to overtaking slower classes. Because it's our responsibility to overtake cleanly, not them. They are expected to hold their line. Diego went a little bit beyond track limits there. He should be okay, though. Yeah, he didn't get a penalty for that. Alright, but he's tucking it on the outside, so I'll just go in. But yeah, trying to deal with those overtakes on the slower class. Those are the fun ones. That's what I like about multi-class racing. It's trying to go through traffic. Although when I play Le Mans Ultimate, I'm typically in the slower class. I typically do GTs when I'm over there. I much prefer the racing style of the GT3s in Le Mans Ultimate compared to the hypercars and the LMPs. But that's personal preference, you know? But I do want to get better at the other classes eventually. You know? Because as time goes on, as LMU gets much more established, it's already in a pretty good place right now, but I do eventually want to take part in like team races, you know, do some of the longer endurance events. Because I mostly do the dailies over there. Which, don't get me wrong, they're fun, but you know, having some stakes, having some things to go over. It's a fun little challenge in itself. Alright, kind of just going through the motions at this point. So we're in the final 9 minutes of the race. So I'm just mucking about, you know. I'm focused on bringing the car home at this stage. Beautiful. Left me that lane. Alright, 8.5 to go. So I reckon about 4 more laps. It really does depend on the leader and how things go when they cross the line, so... Whew. I don't think we have quicker traffic to deal with behind. I think we're going to be okay for now. But I appreciate everybody who's stuck around this far, you know? I know enduros like this tend to be long, but... they're good. They're a really good mental challenge, you know? Because you don't have to be quick every lap, you just gotta be consistent. I think the longest race that I've ever done solo was actually over in iRacing, where we did a... it was like 2 hours, 24 minutes. You know, it was the roar before the 24 at Daytona. It was kind of, obviously it was the it's a truncated version of the Rolex 24, and unlike the LMPs, Hypers, and GT3s that they were doing, we did like Mazda Roadsters, touring cars. But it was fun. It was fun. I did that. I was in the Mazda class, and you know, got some good racing out of that. But I've kind of moved on from those titles, you know. I've got my niche. I am thinking about possibly. I am thinking about doing a my team playthrough over on the F1 side of things, because it's been I'm actually kind of worried about F1 at this stage, you know, because when it comes to F1 26, it's not meant to be a new title. It's not going to be a new game. It's going to be a DLC update that's paid. So yeah, paid DLC. Yeah, it's going to be paid DLC for the 2026 season, so we've gotten no word of it. No announcements. Nothing in terms of like a release date, new features, what they're adding, stuff like that. We're kind of in the dark about it, you know, and it's kind of weird. Alright, Rafaka has decided to go in for yet another pit stop. But, you know, it's only 4 minutes left, so they're going to go for a glory run. Now, I do have a faster car behind me. And I intend to let them go. There we go. I just want to get this over with, so no need to fight me through Orouge and Radeon. Just go on ahead. Don't really have anything to fight for at this stage, so... We have a back marker ahead. We'll let them through. Well, we'll get through them. Probably exit a pool. Take that inside line, or outside line, I should say. Oh, my mediums are going. Gotta nurse these well. I'll go to my on fuel. Okay. I'll have enough. I have enough fuel to finish the race. It's just a case of, do we get one more lap or 2 more laps? That's the question. Because it kind of depends on where the leaders are. Alright, I might be showing the checkered flag. This might be our last lap. Alright, so let's just bring the car home and we'll be good. I doubt I have the fastest sector because I am on worn hards and there is somebody out on the track with soft tires. So... We're almost there, guys. Yep, just bringing the car home. That was a little earlier than I could have been. There might be like one more slower class overtake. I am closing them, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do it before the line. Oh, maybe not. Yep, but that's it. Let's bring the car home. Okay, that's P7. 2 laps down. But no big deal. Remember. Okay. Not bad, not bad. Alright. We do gotta wait for everybody else, though. Oh, my butt has fallen asleep. Oh my goodness. But yeah, look at this. Look how many people have gone with the BMW in this class. Alright. But I'm gonna start looking ahead. Let me see if there's any people we can raid soon. Alright, a little bit later I might send you guys over to GameStrain, a good friend of ours, but let's just wait until all these other results have been finalized. Alright guys, I'm actually gonna call this here. I'll see you guys all tomorrow for Manufacturer's Cup, okay? Family's home, so I'm gonna go help out with the luggage, okay? I'm gonna send you guys over to GameStrain, okay? Give him some love. Alright guys, I'll see you tomorrow night, alright? Take care.